Yo, man, I don't even know really what to start off this video by truthfully saying, garnering the news that I just heard. But in case you are unaware of the news, Akira Toriyama, creator of Dr. Slump, creator of a lot of the character designs we see in stories like Dragon Quest, Chrono Trigger, and more, and especially most famously, the creator and author of Dragon Ball, has passed away at the age of 68. So I just want to say thoughts, prayers, and condolences to Akira Toriyama's family, his friends, his staff, and anyone that knew him, that was close with him. And of course, to the entire anime manga community, as this one is a very, very tough one to just get through as of now. And if you are pretty much familiar with my channel, as you know, I think of Dragon Ball, of Akira Toriyama's work, as one of my favorites, if not my all-time favorite series that I've ever watched or read. Because, for a lot of different reasons, but I will never start to forget ever when I first got into Dragon Ball as an entire series, and like how I really got into it, because it pretty much started with my older brother. He would have, shirts and overshirts or action figures and cassette tapes, posters regarding Dragon Ball. And I, as a kid, just as his younger brother, just didn't know. I didn't know what was Dragon Ball or anything until one day I'm, just playing with my wrestlers, playing with my toys, and then he says, "Hey, like, come over here, let's play a game." And the first time I really got exposure into Dragon Ball was, he said, "This game is called Dragon Ball Z Sagas." And as a kid, I was just like, what is this? I had no idea at the time what Dragon Ball was about. I've always seen my brother have games over it. I've seen him watch the show sometimes and when it would air, but I never really knew what it was about. But he was telling me about the game, like, "Oh, you love this game, man. It's a two-player game. I'm gonna be Goku. You can be Piccolo. You can be Gohan. Oh, here, you can play as Trunks." And I just knew of the name of the characters, but I just never really knew what the story was of Dragon Ball was about. That's until or one of my friends starts saying, "Hey, are you gonna watch this?" And my brother starts saying it too. "Are you gonna watch the show?" And it was Dragon Ball Z Kai. And around this time, that's when I started really paying attention more in the context and story and about what they really were talking about in the story of Dragon Ball and what it was really about. I've said this take before on my channel a lot within most of my videos and anime discussions, that I feel like the story of Dragon Ball really tackles on the pursuit of true happiness. And some people will obviously, disagree with that and say, no, it's about the pursuit of true strength and what you really need to be stronger. And it could be both or other different perspectives if some have any. But for me, it was always about the pursuit of truly what makes you happy as a person. And I feel like this was greatly illustrated by Toriyama and his team with showing how the contrast of ideals or beliefs and battles we see within our characters that they go through, the trials and tribulations. It shows that there's no guaranteed spot for happiness, but it's always a spot that you have to know that works for you and how you want to have fun with it, and to always truly enjoy the journey as you go along. And as time has gone on and as I've gotten older, I started to realize more in the context of what Toriyama was really meaning with Goku as being the main character and main focal point of the story of Dragon Ball. Whether it be like you see it within fans and or the characters themselves, like Vegeta wanting to surpass Goku, or Piccolo vowing to beat Goku, or whether it be people wanting to have Gohan surpass Goku. It always traced back to what Goku really meant as a character. And I think what Toriyama was showing is that, sure, you don't have to like Goku. Sure, he may or doesn't deserve every single win in the story, but there's an honesty to his character. There's an honesty about him that a lot of characters had to work to. That Goku, while had his own share of growth and developments here and there, it's something he's always been. He's always been that character, which is something the characters have always echoed, is that he's always had this happiness in perspective of who he is and how he knows how to go about his way. And that's why I really fully believe in like the pursuit of true happiness, is that I think Toriyama shows us is that, yeah, you can be any of these other directions in your life, but always remember to be truthful and upfront and honest about who you are, because that can obviously change, truthfully, a lot of people's lives. And it's okay to work on them. It's okay to very much receive backlash or criticism on them, because that's a step to happiness. That's a step to getting better and truly becoming the person you want to be. And honestly, one of my favorite things that I love about Toriyama, and I think a lot of people will echo this as well, is dramatically his influence. Whether this be a good or bad thing, as most people have different perspectives and artistic directions that they would have loved to see Dragon Ball go into, it's just something that I just truly never take for granted and always will truly appreciate from Akira Toriyama. Seeing as how so many artists, mangakas alike, have referenced Dragon Ball from sports, cartoons, and other forms of entertainment, it is truly an icon without saying the least. Seeing as how he was possibly done with the series at the time and wanted to just move on from it or take a break, and he decided to draw up designs for Dragon Ball GT, and even hear some input on trying to help with Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 and other anime games alike. And seeing it within even the anime and how he allowed other different artists to take on their own input of how they feel about Dragon Ball, to talk about what their own happiness or their perspective they see of the characters. We see Cooler, we got the story of Trunks, and we got even the story of Bardock, which, by a fun fact, also goes beyond with Toriyama's influence, as my own brother came up with the name Bizarre Killer as an inspiration for the story of Bardock. But even within his works and whatnot, and as this is a tough time for the anime community and specifically Dragon Ball fans alike, this is what will always make Toriyama a legend, and his works will always and truly live on. So with that being said, I truthfully and honestly would love to say thank you. Thank you, Akira Toriyama. Thank you for the works you have put in. Thank you for the people that you have inspired, you have influenced, and you have changed throughout generations and for more to come in the future. Thank you for the characters you have created and the lessons that you have given for so many other young and inspiring artists and creators out there, for them to have great enough opportunity within the influence you have given within your works, for them to see and for them to cherish over time. Thank you so much for the moments and memories you have shaped for an entire generation that have not just impacted my own life, but my friends, my family's lives, and of course, millions across the world. As Goku would say, see you guys later. But for Akira Toriyama, we hope to see you again sometime, hopefully in another world. Thank you again, and may you rest in peace, Akira Toriyama.